Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, StrangeNet here. So over the years, I've spoken about the minerals are free crowd, and again, this video is basically going to be highlighting the fact that just because you're building something for a profit doesn't actually mean you are really making much of a profit, and that potentially you are doing yourself out of ISK by not considering what it is that you're actually building and why you're building it. So I come across a lot of people saying, you can't make ISK from Tech 1 stuff and that it's not worth it and this, that and the other. And that's generally not true. But you often get scenarios where items just aren't worth building. And we will take the Badger, for instance. Now, I was looking at this one earlier, trying to set up this video, and yeah, it's quite disturbing, really. So basically the Badger... Oops. The Badger is currently selling for 800,000 ISK, and at the best we can do in perimeter. Now we're choosing perimeter because it is one of the best places to produce in regards to mineral reduction, but not installation cost. But ignore total installation costs. So the cost to actually build this is 2.82 million ISK. So anybody currently building Badgers is losing 200 million ISK every time they produce a Badger, which is horrific. So anybody out there that's producing Badgers, you're losing money, no matter what ISK, no matter what it is or however it is that you're doing this, you're losing ISK. Now, people often say, well, I was PvPing the other day and I shot this hauler and it dropped all these minerals. And basically all these minerals dropped, therefore I got them for free, and basically I turned them into a Badger, and basically I'm going to sell them for 800,000 ISK. So it hasn't cost me anything, and I'm going to come out with 800,000 ISK, which isn't a lie. You are going to, obviously if you produce that, you're going to make 800,000 ISK, which is 800,000 ISK you didn't necessarily have beforehand. However, the minerals themselves have an intrinsic value to them. And these values are often derived through time, scarcity, abundance. I suppose that's scarcity, but, there's different things and factors that make this up. Certain items, Noxium can only be found in, I think it's low sex, same with Isogen, so these make these quite expensive. Tritanium can be done in many different places now, mainly high sec, and the lower ones, the Zydrin and the Megasite, can only be gotten from null sec. So the point being that people have to go out and they take time to either mine them or by reprocessing, rat droppings and the rest of it. But basically someone has to go out and get these, so it takes time, it takes effort. However, this person got them for free because obviously they shot said hauler and it dropped the items. But you've just lost 200 million ISK by producing this item. Instead of just taking the minerals directly back to the market and putting them on as a sell order, or even literally dropping them off to a buy order, other people's buy orders, you would make more money just by selling the minerals than actually producing the end item. Now, there are some reasons why you would want to. Sometimes you can get the volume down, but we can see here the volume is 880 M3 versus the actual finished item, which is 220,000 M3. So there's no point in doing that. And I can't fathom for the life of me why, unless it's a stockpile of old, why there is such a discrepancy in the value of the Badger. But the point being is, just because you've produced something doesn't mean you've added value. If you are producing an item, you want to be adding value to it. Instead, I would be better off, in a lot of cases, just buying the minerals from a buy order and relisting them as a sell order. And again, you find that with a lot of items, especially T1 items. And therefore, by producing the end item here, as in the Badger, you've not added any value to it. You're not being paid for the time. You're actually losing ISK by doing it. Now this is the case with other items as well. So the Abaddon here, for instance, if we were to buy all the minerals from a buy order, it would cost you 363 million ISK. Now, we're not going to take the installation cost here because obviously this is perimeter and it's incredibly expensive. we've put a buy order in. We've got 363 million ISK in total cost, and potentially we can sell it for so 19 million ISK. If we were to just what's going on here? If we were just to buy it, it would give us roughly the same amount of ISK for just basically buying the minerals and selling the minerals straight off, all but 1 million ISK. And that's not taking into account obviously taxes for relisting and buying, but it's not taking into account the installation cost. But again, the installation cost can vary. So the point being is, don't just build things in the blind thought or thinking that, wow, you know, I've got all the. There's been a nice court mate that I work with, and he's left the game and he's given me all his tritanium, so that means that was free. Therefore, the 27 million ISK that I would have had to have paid for the tritanium, I've not, and therefore that's 27 million ISK extra profit that I'm going to make when I build the Abaddon. It's not true, you're actually losing the 17 million ISK there, because you could just take the tritanium itself and sell it on the market and make the 27 million ISK. So just, despite however you got hold of it, does mean that it was free, but it isn't free in a selling point of view, and I'm sure there's some economic term to put that in. But basically, if someone gives you a car for free, great, you've inherited a car, but that car isn't free, and if you were to give it to it, would you just then, you know, if someone's just giving you a brand new Ferrari for free, would you give it away to someone else saying, well, I got it for free, it doesn't matter? Or would you think that, well, if I'm going to get rid of it, I'm going to sell it because it has a value, even if you got it for free? As I say, in EVE, it's a bit of a strange concept because, yeah, you know, you're not technically losing money by producing said item, but you are losing out on the potential risk that you could have made elsewhere. And again, you know, some people do it, you know, it's for, well, I've mined these minerals for free, and therefore I can afford to sell the Badger at 800k instead of 2.82 million ISK because it didn't cost me anything to mine these minerals. Well, that in itself is a lie, because again, you've had to take the time. Someone else has had to take the time. They haven't come free. They haven't just appeared magically from nowhere. Someone has taken the time, and therefore it has a value attached to it. Now, what you put on that value is entirely up to you, but by undervaluing either someone's time, effort, having to move it, however you got it, obviously you're doing a disservice all round. This is why often we're finding items on the market that basically are just completely unprofitable, and yeah, obviously it causes a lot of people frustration because you're looking for things to buy and you can't, because, well, you can't make it because obviously people are undervaluing the items that they have. And this never used to be an issue. This has become more of an issue of over time, because you used to be able to reprocess pretty much everything at 100%. Now, I'm pretty sure it was 100%. It might have been 95%. I can't quite recall, but it was pretty damn high. And then when Citadels came in, CCP changed the reprocessing amount to, I think it's something like 84.5%, somewhere around there, with perfect skills and the rest of it. So basically, if an item was being built that was undervalued, or basically people weren't valuing their time, you could just buy the item off the market, reprocess it, and sell the items, and generally make more. So if the Abaddon, for instance, let's take the Abaddon because it's a nice big item. If it was costing the 363 million ISK, I think it was, and it was taking, you know, 400 million ISK to make it, you could basically just recycle it, take the minerals, and then basically sell the minerals for the 400 or 395 million ISK, whatever it was, and basically items that were being horribly undervalued could just be, so say, scooped off the market. And people used to obviously do that as a career in EVE. Basically, you'd look for undervalued items, and then you would reprocess them all, and you'd make your ISK that way. But obviously, with the huge discrepancy now between reprocessed items and with basically the value lost from reprocessing, it means that floor is much lower, and basically it's not profitable anymore. In the long distant past, you used to be able to build Abaddons. It used to be Abaddons, from insurance scams. And basically you would build it, you would insure it, you'd take it out, you'd self-destruct it, and you'd get more risk back from the self-destructing than it was to actually build the Abaddon itself. And again, this gave a flaw to how far items could fall, but obviously now that flaw has been somewhat taken away. Let's just have a look at the Badger, actually, for instance. Because there's such a huge amount here. I wonder how much these would recycle for us. Buy the item. Reprocess. So yeah, I have terrible skills, no implants, and again this is in jitter. But again, you're pretty much there. I imagine if you were to take these elsewhere, I'm not sure I can replicate it, but I'm sure if you were to take the badgers elsewhere, you could actually probably make some ISK. Whether it's worth it or not is a completely different matter. But the point being is that yeah, it's so low that it's very close to being on the border there. But yeah, so I hope that is a bit clearer than some of the other videos I've made on this. And again, it's just to highlight the fact that you are potentially losing ISK by building. Don't just build for the sake of building unless there are reasons. Sometimes it's easier to sell an item. So if you are building, we'll say a can't spell panther. The Panther obviously has a lot of components to it. It's a Black Ops ship, it's a Tech 2 ship, and sometimes it's easier just to bundle it all in together. It's easier to move. You've not got as many items to sell, and therefore it does actually make a lot of sense to try and bundle it all in to get rid of it. But some of the simpler items, especially the T1 items, there's pretty much zero reason to be having to make the item just to be able to sell it. Again, you're better off selling the component parts of it than making the actual end item. So with that, thanks for your time, thanks for listening. I know it's been a while, I do apologise. I do want to make some more videos. It is on my to-do list and I'm still here. I'm still having a lot of fun in Eve. I've been doing a lot of things lately and hopefully I'll bring them to a video to you soon. So with that, thanks for your time, thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment by all means, and I will talk to you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.